What is going on, survivors? This 101 is going to be more for the admins or stuff that you're going to be doing on single player. We're going to be going over some basic admin commands to use when in your single player setting, or if you're an admin on a server, whatever the situation is. There's a couple of basic ones, and there's a long list of admin commands, and we're going to put a link to the description of the video to the actual full-blown Ark Wiki with all of the different commands. But we're going to go through just a few of them that I think make things a lot easier if you're an admin. And these settings pretty much apply whether or not you're playing on console or on PC. It doesn't seem to really matter too much. Unless you're doing admin commands from mods, then it can be a little bit trickier. With that being said, let's get right into it. So you're gonna need a commando window open. So and on a PC, you're just basically gonna hit tab, and this little command prompt, this little bar is gonna show up at the bottom of your screen. If you're on console, you'll have to hit a couple of different buttons, but essentially you're gonna get to that dialog box where you can enter information into. So if you're on single player, you don't need to do this because you're basically already an admin, essentially is what you are. But if you're playing on a server, you would have to do a certain command to even get started with any of that. And that is the simple enable cheat space, and then whatever your admin command, whatever your administrator password is, your admin password on your server would be. Or enable cheat space, and then the password, and then you're all set. So the password here, you hit enter, and then you'll be able to actually have admin rights to it. That's pretty much how that works. It's pretty cut and dry. Once you have access to that, then you can start doing all the full-blown commands. Now, a lot of these commands that we're going to talk about, and you'll see if you check out the Wikipedia, that a lot of these commands require you to put in admin cheat space and then whatever you're trying to do. In most cases, especially the ones we're going to go over, you can just type in cheat space, whatever. You don't need to put in admin cheat space, all that stuff. So just for sake of argument, you could put it all in there. You can not put it all in there. For a lot of the commands that we're going to run, it really doesn't matter which one. Some commands are very specific. Some commands are even case sensitive, where the upper and lowercase letters actually matter. And a lot of these that we're going to do for you today, that we're going to go through, it's not like that at all. So two of the most important ones that I use for building things in admin, or just trying to scope out the map, or trying to eliminate dinosaurs coming after me, or to give myself infinite stats, blah, 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 blah. So you can break some of these down. So, and this is the first three that we're going to go into actually tie into one command. So the first one is just cheat space infinite stats. So infinite stats will do exactly what it says. You'll have infinite stats. You won't take any damage. You won't lose stamina. You won't lose hunger, thirst, water, any of that. You will still have a restricted weight, but all your stats are increased, so you don't have to worry about ever essentially dying. Now there's another one that you can turn into, and this toggles on and off. So if I turn this on again, it goes away. So when you put it in once, it enables it. When you put it in again, it disables it. So there's another option that you can put in. Let's say I just want enemy creatures to leave me alone. So what you can do is cheat space enemy. If I could spell, that'd be really, really beneficial. Enemy invisible true. Space true. And you want to make sure your enemy invisible is all one word, space true. Type it out. What this does is it means that enemies will not come after me. It means that I'll be totally immune to, I might actually die by doing this. Oh yeah, I totally did, because I didn't put admin infinite stats back on and I jumped off the ledge. God, I'm smart. One moment, please. Well, that was a little embarrassing. So let's make sure that you have infinite stats on before you jump out of a giant tree stand. As you can blatantly see, that's not very beneficial if you don't already have that on. So let's go back to what we were talking about. So enemy invisible space true. So what that one is going to do is make it so aggressive creatures will not target you, and that even if you go smack another creature that's passive that gets aggressive after contact, it won't aggro after you either. So once again, that's enemy invisible space true. That's what turns it on. So this one's a little bit different. You can't toggle this one on and off. If you want creatures to start coming after you again, you simply change the true to false, and that's it. And that means the creatures will come back after you again. So let's say you're looking for a combination of these things, right? Let's say I just want a quick and easy way to combine both of these and move on with my life. So there is a quick way to do that, and that command is cheat space leave me alone. So leave me alone, all one word, hit enter. So what leave me alone does, it makes it so creatures will not come after you. It means that you have infinite stats on, and actually turns on a god mode status. So basically you're invincible and nothing's going to come after you anyway. So you don't have to worry about weather or falling or creatures coming after you. Pretty much do what you want. Next command we're going to talk about is the game creative mode, which is GCM for short. And that, by entering that in, that's just cheat space GCM. This one toggles on and off with the same command. So if you want to turn this back off, it'll work. So if you enter it, you're going to know right away it entered, because you're going to see this the hammer and wrench down at my bottom right hand corner, and it's going to give me this admin rifle that is useful for a lot of different things. So GCM makes the same thing. It gives me an infinite weight. It gives me an infinite weight and basically bumps my health all the way up so that I have infinite health. So it's a little redundant adding them back and forth, but what this makes it is makes it so creatures leave me alone and I can build whatever I want. And when I say whenever I want, I mean that I can literally build whatever I want without having to cost. I don't need the resources for it. I don't need the particular crafting table that you craft those things at. Anything that I have available to me, any Ingram, is automatically unlocked, and I have it all here, and I can just make it. It doesn't cost me anything, and then oftentimes it makes these things in bulk. So like if I make a wooden elevator track, it actually makes 20 of them. You can hotkey them up, and that's how you build. So if you check that out in your build designs, that is what I do. I always use GCM. A couple different other cool things about GCM is you get this cool little blink rifle. So the admin rifle can do a couple different things, and if you're on computer, it's obviously left mouse click to shoot it, and then right mouse click instead of aiming actually toggles the different stats to it. I believe with the consoles, it's whatever your reload button is. It might be your aim. No, it's actually whatever your aim button is on console. It's going to be mapped to that. So, because you can't actually aim with it. So, the first setting we get is this blue blink rifle. Basically, if I'm aiming at a point with the crosshairs, it teleports me to that location. So, I can teleport myself around, which is kind of easy, but can also get you in a little bit of trouble. You can glitch yourself into places you shouldn't be into. So you definitely want to pay attention to that. The next one is an inspection thing. This is kind of cool because it allows you to see all of the stats on a creature or a person or a structure, whatever the case is. So I can come up here and I can see who owns it, what it is, what the health of it is, a player ID, all of that stuff. Really helpful when you're managing a server, when you see maybe a building that hasn't been touched in a while, or somebody left a trap out, or somebody left a building out, or somebody's pillar spamming, or whatever the case is. You can check the structures and find out exactly who it is down to their Steam ID of who's actually messing around with it. If you're on console, this will show you pretty much all the same information anyways. It doesn't really matter. Also gives you coordinates, and this, like, I mean, all the textures, everything's going to show up with this inspect. Every time you hit something, it's going to give you all the information you could ever need with it. And I think you can actually, yeah, so if you shoot something with it, it stays on target, right? So if I shoot it with it, it's keeping track of the longitude, latitude as it's moving around, and we'll keep the stats there until I shoot something else, or just shoot it up in the air to blank it out, basically, is what you're doing. Next one is a destroy command. This is a dangerous one. Be careful when you're using this. This will blow it. This will kill any creature, point blank. Of course, there's nobody around. Here we go. So if I shoot this, it will kill him. It will not get rid of the body. The body is still there, but it will just kill outright. This will work on tames. This will work on wild creatures. This will work on structures. It will work on everything. You can blow anything up. Definitely convenient when you're doing builds, GCM, when you're just playing around to see if you can build some stuff, mainly because if you don't like the build, you can just trash the whole thing really quickly, and it's like a fully automatic. You can just kind of leave this go. You just hold in the trigger and just kind of let it go. So it's really convenient for a lot of different things. Having it all combined together allows you to kind of test out. I love it for testing out builds. Like if I know I'm going to play on a map or a different map, or I want to try a build out or see if something works, rather than wasting all the time and resources to actually harvest everything, I can actually do it this way, and it just saves a lot of time, and I can test things out. The other thing available to you is the kind of a fly button, which on your keyboard and mouse, it's going to be double tapping spacebar. With consoles, it's just going to be double tapping whatever your jump is. And what it does is it allows you to just fly. And you can fly pretty fast, and you can ascend and descend, so it gives you a fly mode as well, so that you don't need to actually enter that separate command in. And then if you want to land back on the ground, because you have infinite health, you can do it from all the way up here. If you want to, you just double tap that jump button, and you'll go back down to where you were at. So that's how you basically how you toggle it on and off. And again, you'll have infinite health, so don't worry about falling into something. Pretty convenient. So those two commands, leave me alone and the GCM mode, are very useful in just about everything that you're doing admin related. You don't want to be bothered by other stuff while you're trying to admin. You don't want to be bothered by hindrances of resources and stuff like that. If you're trying to spawn stuff in and you don't want other things bothering you, leave me alone is great if you're trying to spawn creatures in for an event, but you don't want it to necessarily come right after you. It's perfect for that. They definitely all have multiple uses, but typically GCM and leave me alone are probably the two that I use the most out of. What else is down the list? So let's turn GCM off. When you turn GCM off, it's important to note this. You'll take a little bit of health damage. Well, I didn't because my health's only 100. But if your health is above 500, let's say it's just 600 health, it's going to take it down to 500. So you're going to see a little bit of health loss if you have high health stats bumped up in your character already. If you have lower health stats, obviously it wouldn't really matter. You can actually toggle a fly mode on separately. So cheat space fly will allow you to just kind of just hover around and fly around like it would in GCM mode, but you can't just toggle it on and off. You can't just toggle it, drop and pick up, drop, pick up. You're just in a flight mode basically. And this one's good for like real quick things, depending on what you're doing. Somebody's flyer stuck up in the air and you're nearby, you can just jump up there and grab it, or whatever you're trying to do. Or if you're trying to get an aerial view at somebody's base, trying to get some cool angles for, you know, recording or photos or whatever, it's a great piece of work for that. To turn this off, you'll actually put in cheat space walk. Cheat space walk will put you back on the ground without an issue. There's another one that's sort of related to this. So Ghost. Ghost can be a little bit dangerous, so please only use this when you have to, and please be careful when you use it. So Ghost basically makes you pseudo kind of invisible. I know it's what it sounds like is Ghost, but what it allows you to do is pass through objects. See, I'm passed under the map right now, which is kind of cool. So it allows you to kind of go in and out of objects. This would help out with people if you're adminning a server and you have some idiots that are meshing on there. You can clean it up that way with GCM admin gun and with Ghost being able to just kind of fly underneath the map. This also helps if people have things stuck under the map every now and then. We know Ark, it gets glitchy sometimes and you get stuff that's stuck underneath the map, so you can kind of use that to aid your peoples with. If you're on single player and maybe you're just trying to find out where a certain cave location is or how a certain cave works, being able to ghost down through the map through the cave is definitely convenient. A couple of things that you want to avoid when you have Ghost on. Stay away from water. You can get down close to the water, but if you get in the water, it'll put you in this weird infinite loop falling pattern, and it won't matter. 9 times out of 10, it won't matter what code you run afterwards. You'll be stuck like that and it'll mess you up. Also, do not have the Ghost command on when you're mounting a creature. When you dismount, it'll do the same thing. It's just all bad. So only Ghost when you're by yourself, not on a creature, and do not get in the water. You can get close to the water, but don't avidly get in the water. A lot of times when that happens to me, if you do that, I end up having to log completely out of the game or the server and then log completely back in to try to reset the thing, and it usually winds up killing my character. So another rule of thumb is if you do have to Ghost, empty your inventory. Just in case, empty your inventory so you're not losing anything that you kind of value. To turn Ghost off, you do the same thing. Cheat space walk, just like you were flying. Turn walk on, and now I'm on the ground and everything's all good. So very simple commands, but you definitely want to be conscious of what you're doing when you're using the Ghost command. All right, so another one we can go over is how to set the time of day. You can change the actual time of day of what time of day it is on the server. Now, the way you can do that is typing in cheat space set time of day, and then you type in the hour, minute, second. All the way down to the second is what this thing keeps track of. So let's say I want to change it to noon. So I type in 12:00:00. This puts it at noon. Like again, it tracks the hours, minutes, seconds, and it's a 24-hour clock, so it goes from 1 to 24, not from 12 back to 1 or anything like that. So that's how that works. And as you can see, there's a slight change here. I already had it to I think I had it to like 10 a.m. already, so it didn't really change too much. But let's change it to midnight. So that would be 24. Essentially. So if you're not sure how the 24-hour clock that goes, that's pretty much how that goes. You just keep going from 1 to 24 versus going to 12 back to 1. But anyhow, it's pitch black out here. So you can definitely change the time of day, and you can change this pretty much however you want. This is important for, I would say, if you're running certain events, and you need it to be daytime, and you don't want to mess around with the server settings at the time, you can just kind of change that at the drop of a hat. It's kind of convenient. Let's say I got dodos, right? We're gonna summon in a dodo, and again, if you haven't checked that video, I'll definitely check it out about how to summon in spawned creatures. And actually, we're not gonna do a dodo. We're gonna do like a T-Rex. We're gonna do a Rex. Of course, we're gonna make him 150. Why wouldn't we? So anyhow, let's say, for instance, that I have, use your imagination here with me. Imagine there are 2 other T-Rexes, a male and a female, and they have a baby, and they have an egg, and I hatch the egg, and bam, this T-Rex pops out. Now, obviously, this T-Rex wouldn't be this big, right? If you wanted to speed the age up of the animal, you can actually do that with an admin command. You have to be targeting it, so you want to be close to it, and you want to make sure that you're getting this little window that's showing up. You want to make sure that window is there before you run the command, because it won't work any other way. And what you can do is set the dino age. Cheat space set baby age, all one word, space, and then whatever age you want to. Now this works basically from like a 0.1 all the way up to 1. So 1.0 would be 100% is what we're looking at here. So anything under that is a certain percentage. So let's say if you put 0.50 in there, it's going to be an adolescent. So it goes down to that maturation. You'll be able to change that. Let's say it's a baby and you're like, oh, well, I got to speed this thing up for whatever I'm doing. Again, as an admin, don't be abusive with this stuff. But but what you could do is set it back to 1.0 would be a fully grown T-Rex. So, and this works with any critter, basically. You can do this with anything as long as it's tamed. You can just set the age to it and just walk away from it. It's pretty easy. The other thing that you can do is, let's say we bump this back down to 5.0, and you can actually admin command this thing to get 100% imprint. And what you can do is set cheat space set imprint quality to 1.0. 1.0 would be 100% imprint on it. And again, you got to be targeting the animal that you're doing. This obviously wouldn't, it's not going to work on this creature because it was a wild, like you need a baby obviously for this to work on. But what it'll do is it'll increase that taming, the imprint setting on there, so that you can get 100% imprint, or change it to whatever you want depending on what you're doing. Maybe you're giving a creature away for an event, or spawning one in to get 100% imprint to see what the stats would be. Maybe you're preemptively doing a little bit of research. You can actually change the colors of creatures too. This is another cool admin thing where you can color creatures, especially if you're doing them for an event, or maybe you're doing like giving away creatures for something, or spawning on a cool boss and want to change the color schemes around or something like that. This is a quick and easy way to do this. It is a little complicated, and you want to make sure that you're getting the right color codes in, but basically you want to make sure you're selecting the creature first, obviously, and it's cheat space set target dino color space. Now, every creature has regions of color associated with them between 0 and 5. You need to look the creature up in the Ark Wiki, and again, we'll throw a link to the wiki in the description of the video so you can check that out. You're going to need the color region, and you're going to need the color code. Again, that is something that's going to be in the Ark Wiki where you're going to be able to change the color to it. Basically, you put the region in. In this case, I'm going to use 0. But you have 0 between 5. Depending on the creature that you're doing this with, some creatures, they can have potentially 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but they might only have 0, 2, and 3. Or something like that. They might not have all the different color regions, so definitely check out the creature in the Ark Wiki to find out what color regions it actually has available, and then you can change the color based on that. On the Ark Wiki also is all of the different color IDs and the numbers associated with them. And what these are just numbers, essentially. You'll look the color up and you go, okay, I want to change it to this one. So for instance, what we're going to do is we're going to change the color, the region 0, we're going to change it to red. Now a standard red color ID is the number 1. You just change that, and so the 0 region on the Rex, which is the main body, transforms into this red color. And you can do this with any creature, essentially, that has a color region associated to it, and you can change it. There is a plethora of different colors to use. As new expansions came out with Ark, other color options became available too, so you can change the colors of them as well. Giving ourselves items. So let's, this is probably another admin command that you would use to give away things for events and things like that, so you can give yourself items. Let's say I was looking for shocking tranquilizer darts. Well, I googled Ark shocking tranquilizer darts, and it's usually the first hit. You're looking for this arkgamepedia.com website, and this is pretty much going to be used for anything on these Gamepedias. You can search for just about anything in here. But on this right hand side, what you'll notice if you go down a little ways, you'll see the spawn command, and you'll be able to expand this out. What we can do is just basically copy this or type it in if you're on console. You can grab that, and we're going to go back here and paste it in here, and then we got a shocking tranquilizer dart. So the way we can change this, we can change this first number. So we can change this first number to give us more. So that first number is the quantity, right? The second number isn't going to help you here because it doesn't have a quality level, so it's not really that important. It just needs to be zeroed out. And then the last one is actually a blueprint. So I don't know why I just spawned in 100 blueprints, but you can spawn in a blueprint for it. So What this breakdown means is that this first number, this 100, is the quantity, how many of those things that I'm trying to spawn in. The second number is going to be the quality of what I'm trying to spawn in. And the third number is going to be just a 0 to 1, whether or not it's a blueprint or not. That's what's going to happen. So let's take this, but let's do this with something that actually has a quality associated with it so we can check that out. Let's take this first one. Well, we'll do the GFI one just because let's keep the pattern the same. So we're going to copy that command as GFI metal helmet 100. So if I just go back here and run just this one command, it's going to give me a primitive flak helmet, and that's all it's going to give me. These are the ones that I probably commonly use. There's quite a few others, and I would highly suggest checking out the wiki to see exactly what you're trying to accomplish. One of the other ones that I like, especially if I'm doing like checking out a map, or if I'm checking out people's bases, or I just want to shoot a cool montage or whatever the case is actually enable spectator. So enable spectator doesn't require cheat in front of it in single player anyway. Enable spectator, did I spell it right? Yep, I did. Okay, so all right, so spectator mode is an interesting one because you're going to get a couple different options with this. Basically, me moving around, I'm just a camera. I'm no longer a person, and a lot of times this will actually kill your player off when you do this, so definitely pay attention to what you're doing. This is a cool concept because it allows me to just use this camera angle however I want to use it, and I'm just a moving camera, and I can go through things, I can go above things, I can do whatever I want. I'm just a moving camera. I'm still going to be obstructed by certain walls and barriers, but for the most part, anything like destructible, I can just kind of beam myself through, which is kind of cool. I can just go right through it. I still can go up and down. I can speed up, I can slow down. On keyboard and mouse, you can actually use the mouse wheel to speed yourself up or reel it back in to slow yourself down. You'll be able to like toggle like a sprint mode like you normally would, and then spacebar take you up, C will take you back down. And so you can get some cool panoramic shots if you're trying to shoot like a small video of something and you don't want anything else in the way. This is also cool if you're just doing like a survey of a map just to check a map out. Maybe you're just scoping for map build locations on a map or something like that. Also another cool thing to do if you're just maybe there's a cool event going on and you don't want to be a part of it, you don't want to be involved in it, but you do want to be able to get some pretty cool videos of it. This is an easy one to do because nothing's going to target you. You're literally just kind of a camera. You're a point of view moving around the map, so it's not even you anymore. The way you would turn that off is going back through and hitting disable spectator. Now you can actually, if you're running a server, you can actually change your server settings to might be cool if I learned how to spell disable, wouldn't it? Oh, really? Disable. I can do this. All right, and like I said, it kills my character off. But this is a cool thing to use in a couple different situations, obviously. And like I said, it will kill you off though. So make sure when you do this that you're probably butt naked with nothing on you. So that way you're not losing anything or worried about anything. And that way, when you spawn back in, you'd be able to just pick a bed. I don't have a bed out here, but you'd be able to just pick a bed. But that's pretty much it. Those are most of the commands that I use. Now there's quite a few other ones, and like I said, I would highly suggest maybe taking a look at that Ark Wiki just to get a feel for them. If there are some commands that maybe you want to see specific videos on, maybe we can get a group of them and kind of do another thing with just showing a group of maybe those specific commands, maybe more for like tribe management or things like that. But if it's something you guys are interested in, definitely leave something in the comments to let me know. And as always, guys, thanks for watching, thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all next time.